So the big question for Razor leading up to this weekend's game for the All Blacks versus England, do you start Damon McKenzie? After last week's performance, after last week's heroics from Dmac, do you start him? Do you reward him for that? Or do you just still keep him on the bench to keep that impact later in the game that he's so good at? Dmac, later in the game, it's like death taxes Dmac coming on late in the game and doing bits for the All Blacks. So that's my big question for this one. Here's my predicted All Blacks team to take on England in probably their biggest game of the Grand Slam tour. This will be, I said it in the preview, this will be their big hurdle, and it's going to be massive at Twickenham. England and New Zealand, for me, for the purists, for the rugby purists, it's up there with South Africa and New Zealand as a game they would play in rugby heaven. New Zealand versus England at Twickenham, though. Outstanding. Love this fixture. Let's stick on the All Blacks predicted side. Here it is. Jump in the comments. What changes would you make? Who would you bring in? Who would you leave out? Do I know anything about All Blacks rugby? As you can see, not in my usual studio, still on the Gold Coast on holiday, but getting the content out. And if you enjoy it, please jump in, chuck us a subscribe, have the goal of hitting 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's almost the end of the year and we've still got a bit to go. So join in the conversation, share it with your mates, hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. So the big one, All Blacks versus England. Love it at Twickenham. Can't wait for it. Here's my predicted side. Here's my All Blacks predicted team to take on England. Tamati Williams, Cody Taylor, Fletcher Newell up front. Then Josh Lord, Fabian Holland in the locks. Wallace Atiti, Artie Savia, Peter Lakai, Artie Savia captain. Cam Roygard, Beauden Barrett 9 and 10. Then Quintupaya, Lester Fainganuku centres. Then Rico Ioane, Leroy Carter, Will Jordan back three. Bench of Tokiaho, De Groot, Tossi, Sam Darry, Simon Parker, Cortez Ratima, Dmac, and Billy Proctor. Strong side, very exciting. Couple of changes, some forced changes, little tweaks to the team. What do you think of it? Let me know. What changes would you make? Why you would make those changes? And let's get into some of the reasons why. So up front, Tamati Williams, Fletcher Newell, Cody Taylor. I still think that this is the strongest All Blacks front row going forward right now. The Crusaders pairing or trio up front. De Groot's been good, but for some reason, love combinations, and it works so well for the Crusaders this year. It transferred for the All Blacks. I think that was against the Wallabies, the second test in the Rugby Championship, and they did really well, that front row. Let's see that again. And then you can have De Groot, Tossi, and Tokiaho coming on later and keeping that intensity or lifting that intensity, because the front row battle, it's going to be a scrum battle with the English. The English love to scrum as well, and it's going to be big. He's got obviously sleight of hand for Tamati Williams, Fletcher Newell, really good with their soft hands. I know De Groot is good in that regard as well. But I like this Crusaders pairing or trio up front. In the locks, Josh Lord, Fabian Holland. With the locking injury crisis, you throw certain guys in the deep end to see what happens, and they sink or swim. And Josh Lord and Fabian Holland have been Baywatch swimming. They've been outstanding. We know Fabian Holland, what he's done, like the start of this year with the French test. So he's been one of the finds of the year, and I will die on the hill that he is leading the way in Breakthrough Player of the Year this year. And then in steps Josh Lord. You've got Scott Barrett injured, Tupuvai injured, Patrick Tuipulotu injured. In steps Josh Lord. I had my doubts. All those doubts have been proved wrong. He's been outstanding. He's been fantastic. Just all the basics you need to be done as a lock. He's doing all of them. And then add in a try assist on the weekend. Bust through the middle. Drawn pass for Cam Roygard. How good. So he's been good there. And then Darry came on and did really well as well. So I think they keep that makeup of lock and bench set up. Then the back row. Wallace Atiti, Artie Savia, Peter Lakai. I think they keep the back row as it was versus Scotland. Some people might be jumping down my throat now being, oh, they're too short or they're too small and they're not line-out options. I even seen in the comments some people saying that they can't be lifters at line-outs. Have you seen these guys gym? Like, remember, guys, they don't just lift them; they throw them up. If you watch any lineouts or any warm-ups of lineouts or any training of lineouts, you'll see the lifters throw the players up. They are strong enough and dynamic enough to do that. The jumpers jump, and the lifters throw them up. So it doesn't matter how short you are. And these guys aren't even that short. Okay, they're strong enough to throw these guys up, and they're obviously big enough. They're playing international rugby for one of the most prolific rugby teams in the world, the All Blacks. These guys are big enough. Don't get it twisted. All right. So I think they keep that makeup of the back row, and then I've brought Simon Parker in again, punch off the bench, slightly taller than Du Plessis-Kirifi. I wouldn't even mind Du Plessis-Kirifi starting off the bench to come on and just be a nugget around the ruck time. But I think Simon Parker, at least with ball carries, but again, that also is not like the most prolific ball carrier. He's a bigger body. He's a bigger frame than Du Plessis-Kirifi. So I'm not. That one is. I'm pretty. There's a question mark around the makeup of the back row for sure. But I think Artie Savia and Peter Lakai definitely keep their spots. Whoever starts at 6, that like Wallace Satiti versus Ireland was really good off the bench. So that I could see Simon Parker starting and then Satiti coming off the bench. Not too sure on that one. By 9 and 10, Cam Roigard, Beauden Barrett. Cam Roigard goes without saying. He starts. The only time he doesn't start is if he's injured, right? Cortez Reitema is just riding the wave now. Get the minutes when you can take it, or take the minutes when you can get it, and just do your best or try your best. Beauden Barrett, I think, keeps his starting spot. I do think while I want to reward Dmac, I think that his punch off the bench is just so prolific. You want to keep that. You want that. I do think they give Dmac a lot more minutes in this game. So instead of the last 20 or the last 15, he comes on for the last 30. Maybe even plays the whole second half or like 35 minutes of the second half. Obviously, depending on injuries, I think that's the way that they will reward Damien McKenzie in this regard because of how well he has been performing when he comes off the bench onto the field. And just, man, heroics last week versus Scotland. Fantastic. Really good versus Ireland as well when he came off the bench. So I think that's how they keep Beauden Barrett there to start off the game, steady the ship, they're cool, calm, and collected, and then bring Dmac on and reward him with more minutes in this game. And in the centres, I've got Quintupaya, Lester Ganuku. I keep that centre pairing. Maybe he didn't do, yes, we're good first phase, getting over the ad line, made some strong hits, probably didn't live up to the hype that was built around it to start off with. But again, you're not expecting highlight reels from these guys every single game. So I think that it needs a bit of time. We have the injuries to Geordie Barrett. He won't be there. Billy Proctor came off the bench for Scotland, but I think they keep him on the bench for this English game because he can cover centre, he can cover wing. I think they keep Leicester and Quintupaya really strong first phase, can give you a bit of excitement as well because they've got that X factor within them, and then just let them grow into it. Takes time. This stuff doesn't just happen, guys. Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay, Leicester and Quinn at centres are the All Black centres right now. With all the injuries that are happening, let these guys go. It'll be good for them, and they'll be up against it because it's going to be a massive clash. Back three: Rico Ioane, Leroy Carter, Will Jordan. I think they bring Rico Ioane in. Caleb Clark went off HIA for Scotland and didn't come against Scotland and didn't come back on the field. I am recording this early, so I haven't seen an official statement being put out from the All Blacks yet. But I think when that happens, you have a mandatory stand down of 11 days, I think it is. So Caleb Clark will then be out for this weekend. And I think they bring Rico in. Loves the big games, loves scoring length of the field tries versus England, has done a number on England for a long time. He's a big game player, hasn't played at all this Autumn Nation series yet, so he will be frothing at the mouth, ready to go. And wing, I like him at wing. Wing is his position. So I think they bring Rico Ioana in on the wing. Leroy Carter keeps his spot on the wing. Didn't do much and got the yellow card, but still back in. We know what he can do when he is on song, when he is given opportunity. Gone. Still gone. We want to see him in these big games as well. Will Jordan goes without saying. Scored again last week. One of the best fullbacks in the game at the moment. Just play him. You play him every day of the week. What changes would you make? Do you like this team? Why would you make the changes, if any, to this squad? I want to hear it. Join the conversation. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next time.